Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. Yay, Friday. It's Friday the 13th today. I'm getting ready to go on live. Okay. I'm gonna go to the Hive Society and we are going to share all about overwhelm today. So good morning. All right, we're getting this set up so that we're on Facebook Live over in the Hive Society and we're going to have some fun. So welcome today to Got it. Okay. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Hive Society. For those who are new, I'm so glad that you're here. Just excited to be of service. So I'm Kimberly Borgens, founder of Be a Legacy, and I have the Hive Society here is kind of like where I give my wisdom back. It's a little free gift for everybody. I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years, so I have some little tricks up my sleeves, right? A few things that I can do to support you in business. So today we are talking about, basically is how do you prevent being overwhelmed and burned out in business, especially as an entrepreneur. Like, you can go to your boss and say, look, there's, when you're working for a company, there's too much on my plate. But as an entrepreneur, you are the boss. Therefore, everything is on your plate. Right? So I completely get it. I completely get it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me just start with some of the warning signs. Some of the warning signs that you're starting to feel a little overwhelmed or burnt out as an entrepreneur. One, you don't want to go to work. Okay. You don't want to get up. It feels like drudgery sometimes. You might be on edge, right? You feel like you're on edge and anything that anybody's going to say could set you off, right? You're feeling anxious, right? In the way that, at night when you go to bed, you're overthinking things. Oh, I should have said this instead of that. I could have done this better than that. Oh, I should have done this. Oh, I didn't get this done. And what that does is it creates more anxiousness within you, keeps you awake at night, right? You're not getting full restless, full good night's sleep. You're a little more restless at night. Right? You're again overthinking everything, even during the day. Like, oh, what if I do this? And the list just goes on and on, right? Overwhelm comes when you're letting things like blame, shame, guilt come in. You're letting things like I didn't get this done and I should have gotten this done, or you have clients complaining because you're not getting things done. You have bills that are late, all these things, that's just the business part. And then there's relationships where your spouse wants you to spend more time with them. Your kids, they want more time with you. Your friends say that you don't spend time with them. They're going off and finding new friends, right? Because you're just so caught up in business and you're not getting the things that are necessary for you to grow in business. So those are some of the signs of burnout, overwhelm, the things that you want to reduce in your life. You want to relax a little bit more. Look, I can be the first person to tell you that it's not easy to be in business. It really is not. Okay. I've been in business for over 30 years. I currently have about 75 employees. Right? I didn't start my business to have 75 employees. As a matter of fact, I never even thought about that. Okay. So let's be real, right? So it's just a matter of, what it is for you. What is it that you want in your business? And then it comes down to, okay, what do I need to do? So I wanted to kind of share with you today some of the things to help reduce that overwhelm, that anxiousness that you can get in your business, the different things that can hold you up, get you caught up, make you feel burnt out. Because that's not what we want for you. That's not what you need to be in business. I'm at a stage right now that, people think all the time, Kimberly's got it handled. She's been in business for 30 years. She never gets in this. Well, look, I'm in it right now with you. Right now, I have a key management position or a key position in my company that I have to fill. The person left their position. I'm working 2 full-time positions right now. Okay, just to make sure that everything is done. And it's not simple positions, right? They're the all around money. And so for me, like, I'm practicing the same things as you. So I just want you to know that, you're going to go through stages in your business, and some days you got this, and, some years it's no problem. And some months, like, it gets crazy and you're like, out, right? I'm going to say, don't pull your hair out. Okay. Mine's too thin for me to pull. Right. It's always been thin, but maybe you have some thick hair still. Don't pull it out. Hopefully what I can do today is share with you some tips so that it doesn't come to pulling it out, doesn't come to having restless night's sleep and not being able to manage your relationships and, overthinking, overwhelming, and all of that. So let's get right into what are some of the solutions. Well, the first thing that I would say is understand that failure is okay. People will say all the time that, failure is not an option. Well, get over yourself. Failure happens all the time, right? Even there's electrical failures, right? Even in technology, there's failures. There's failures everywhere. And it doesn't mean, look, Zoom doesn't work one day. Guess what? Tomorrow we'll use it again, right? It's not a failure. And you in business is not, it's not something to be ashamed of. Failure is where you learn. Failure is what happens when, I always say failure is the space in which when you do something that doesn't work out and you ignore it and leave it alone and you don't learn what you needed to learn in that process. That's the only time anything's a failure. Any other thing that looks like a failure is actually a learning opportunity for you to grow in business, for you to grow in yourself, to say, ooh, that didn't work so well. What can I do different? So be okay with the mindset of failure and move it into the mindset of, okay, what do I need to learn in this? Okay, oops, that didn't work out so well. You might lose a client. I had somebody just last week when I was speaking that said, well, I might lose clients if I do that. Yeah, you might, but you might find some really great clients that are better for you. Look, some clients, like they make an agreement with you and then they keep trying to add more and keep trying to add more and keep trying to add more. And that's called scope creep, right? But they don't want to pay you anymore, but they want you to do more. And a lot of times entrepreneurs will do that more because, they're trying to please the client. That's where that, under promise and over deliver comes in. Is like you add more to it and then they feel more valued versus having them put more on you than you had agreed to. Big difference, right? So failure is okay. Learn to manage it as what is the learning system. So what's the next thing? How about maintain the relationships with the people that you have? Sometimes when you're starting to feel overwhelmed or you're overworked, you're like, I don't have time for friends. Husband, move aside. Somebody better watch these kids, right? And what I'm telling you is that you want to maintain those friendships. Be honest with your spouse. Hey, look, I'm feeling overwhelmed. This is feeling a little too much for me. I just need you to, pull me in if I start to move away. So my husband, for example, he comes walking in my office. Everybody's like walking in my office and I'm like, I'm just trying to stay focused, right? And they come in and I look at him and I said, look, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. What I really need is I need for you to, manage the people coming in. He's like, okay, no problem. Or I say, you know what? I know you want this answer right now, but there's a lot going on right now. I'm going to need a half hour before I can respond to that. Right? So be honest, have those relationships, keep those friends close by. Hey, you know what? I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Can we just go out for a drink? Don't get drunk. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just relax. When I go out for a drink, it's, pineapple juice and some cranberry juice. All right. Just a little, a little sweet drink. And that's it. I don't drink sodas. So I drink water. And occasionally when I go out, it's some juice. Right. That's my hardcore. But you know what I'm saying is go out and just hang with some friends a little bit, gather a lunch, maybe a breakfast, whatever that is, where you're maintaining the relationships that are important for you. Does that make sense for you? Because if you pull away, then you feel alone more. And what happens is that creates more overwhelm and more anxiousness. That's not what I want for you. I want you to get out of that space. Next thing is stop trying to do it all alone, right? Women have a tendency to try to do everything on their own. Stop it. Okay, men don't do it. So stop falling in that trap that you have to. Ask for help, get somebody to help you. And if you can't think of somebody to help you, great. Ask a friend, get an intern, bring in some teenagers that could do some things. You pay them a little tiny bit, whatever that is. Feed them. Teenagers love to be fed, right? Whatever that is. But stop trying to do everything on your own. Ask for help, get some support. Avoid multitasking. Okay, avoid multitasking. Look, statistically, people, they say women are great multitaskers, but scientifically, they've discovered that the truth is that when you're multitasking, you're only doing half of the energy towards one thing and half of the energy towards the other thing, and therefore nothing gets your full attention, right? So you're going back and forth, and your brain has a hard time with that. It truly does. So stop multitasking. Get focused on one thing, get that thing done, get focused on the next thing, get that thing done, get focused on the next thing, get that thing done. Stop trying to multitask. Close your door, don't get interruptions, put your phone on silent, whatever that is for you to stay focused on one thing at a time. And just know that small actions moving forward when you're in overwhelm, look, this is what I can complete this hour. Okay. One small action that I can complete this hour. What's one small action I can complete this day? What's one small action I can complete this week? Figure out what those one small actions are and then step into those. Look, for me, I'm like, okay, what's the one thing I have sitting here on my desk right now, right? Papers right here. You can't see what's on the other side, but that this is my first thing that I do when I come in. This is my first thing. I always leave my first thing sitting in front of me because then I don't have to think about it. And then sometimes I have my first thing and then I have my second thing sitting right here, right? I have my second thing sitting next to my first thing, right? That way I don't have to think about it. Now, it's not like this all the time, but when I know that I have so much on my plate, this is how I do it. I have my first thing that's always right in front of my keyboard and my second thing just to the left of my keyboard. And if by chance I do a third thing, it's even further over. So think about that for you. For me, another thing is a list, right? Creating a list. And I talked about lists last week. So go back and watch that video from last week. But creating checklists or creating, to-do list or to-done list, whatever that is for you, create a list so that it feels less overwhelming. And the bonus is you get to see kind of some of the results that you're doing. And then you're like, okay, I am getting something done, right? A bigger thing is create some self-care time. And that self-care time can be 5 minutes. That self-care time can be a half an hour. Okay, I'm not asking you to go, I need to go to a spa for 5 days and just get away. Right? Well, when you're in overwhelm and you have so much on your plate, that's not likely that's going to happen, right? So take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes. So I have this other Kimberly's list, and I'll show you. This sits on my keyboard, my monitor, and my pardon me, and my Kimberly list. Some of it is self-care, right? Take a moment of prayer or meditation, whatever that is that works for you. Another thing on my list, this is on my list. And the reason it's on my list is to prevent overwhelm. Pardon me. So what else is on my list? As example, take 5 deep breaths daily. Look, deep breaths can help with the overwhelm. And I'm not talking about size. I'm talking about full on. Inhale through your nose, exhale from your mouth. Do that 5 times. Stop and take 5 minutes. Right after that, take a minute to do prayer, do meditation, whatever that is for you. What that does is it allows you to kind of just check in and go, okay, what can I do right now? Self-care. Drink 5 glasses of water a day. Self-care. Send 5 gratitude texts every day. Look, when you send texts to people, this is what I appreciate about you. I'm so glad that we're in our relationships together. Whatever that gratitude is, send a gratitude text. Those are some great self-care things that you can do. Of course, manage stress, right? Breathe, keep a journal if necessary. Like I said, get into prayer or meditation. Just take care of you. If you're not eating, pardon me, if you're not eating and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not drinking water, even while you're working. Normally, I have a bottle of water sitting on my desk, which I emptied, and my glass, which is empty right now. I didn't refill it before I came on. So anyway, do the little things that seem like they're insignificant or they're no big deal, but get them done so that if you stay out of that overwhelm. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about is learn to say no. No is a one-word sentence. You can say, no, thank you. Sorry, not today. Ask me another time. Sorry, I can't attend that. I'm actually quite busy. Please let me know when the next time it happens. Say no. Learn to say no. They always tell you, right? If you need something done, give it to a busy person. That's because busy people have a tendency of not saying no. And then they create more anxiousness, more overwhelm. They get caught up in their head. They're like, I'm always busy. I'm doing everything I can, right? I can't add anything else to my plate. Oh, get a bigger plate. Okay, I got a bigger plate. Guess what? It's still full. That's because they haven't learned to say no. And not out of disrespect, not out of being mean, not out of not caring about the person, but more about taking responsibility for what it is that you need, taking responsibility for what you have going on in your life. Because every time you say no to somebody or something else, you're saying yes to yourself and something that you want to do. Right? So learn to say no. Overwhelm is what happens when we don't prepare for the future. We're not preparing for what could happen. It's okay. I wasn't prepared when the person decided that they were ready to move on to a job that they could get paid higher at. I wasn't prepared for that. That's okay. I'm stepped in anyway, right? I stepped in to do the job. I'll do the job, and I'm in the process of hiring. So it's just a short time. So remind yourself also that you're only in this for a short time. You're only in this for a simple amount of time, and be okay with that. It's not forever. Get yourself into that space where, you remember that failure it's okay, that you're maintaining your relationships. You stop trying to do it all by yourself. You're avoiding multitasking. You're taking small actions every single day, maybe even every little hour, right? You're creating lists, right? Create that time for self-care, manage that stress, deep breathing, drink plenty of fluids, right? Do your gratitude text, whatever that is, keep a journal, do some prayer, meditation, learn how to say no. And when you can do those things, when you're feeling that overwhelm, that anxiousness, that lack of sleep, that overthinking coming on, step into some of these solutions and let's see if we can get you out of that overwhelmed space and moving more forward into, a space of gratitude, a space of thriving, and a space of feeling like you're accomplishing things. All right, if you have questions on this, or if you heard a nugget that was, very helpful for you and you're like, oh, I forgot about that one, or, oh my goodness, I hadn't even thought about doing that. Share that down below, please, just share. I would love to have you share. All right, hope you have a fabulous week, and I will talk to you again next Friday.